I'm Christina from Brooklyn Dreams and welcome to a new video. So as you can see, today I will be talking about my wrap-up. It was supposed to come out yesterday, but as you can see from the changes behind me, I have been dealing with this wall for the past month and it's finally done. And yesterday and this morning was hectic, so I didn't have time to film, but I'm here now to tell you what I read in the month of July. Yes, that's the month. So I'm gonna try to have some kind of structure to this, so let's just get going with the first read of the month, and that is Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. I read this for my book club that I have with Maya, her sister, and one of our friends, and this is the story about Fat Charlie Nancy, who has an okay life. He has a good job, he's good at it, he has a girlfriend, fiance, so everything's fine. And he finds out that his dad died, and he finds out that he has a brother, and that he should kind of contact him. However, his whole family is a bit weird, as we know from American Gods, because this is not really a sequel to American Gods, but it is about characters from there. So he contacts his brother Spider, and kind of his whole life turns upside down. And Spider basically, kind of ruins his life, and I must say, I really liked it. It kind of felt similar to American Gods, where nothing was happening, but it was happening. I can't really explain the feeling, but you just kind of follow Fat Charlie as he, goes to America, returns back to London, goes to this fantastical realm of some kind of god, animal gods, and he's just trying to get his life back to normal. That's all he really wants. He's really just a regular guy, and I think you can really empathize with him and really be mad at Spider for being so mean to him. However, I want to point out that there was just this one, and I'm gonna be really explicit about this one because I think it needs to be said, that there's a point where Spider is basically tricking Charlie's girlfriend into thinking that he is Charlie because he has this kind of power. And he sleeps with her, although she has been refusing to sleep with Charlie because she kind of wants it to be, special, and I think it's even her first time, and he just kind of charms her so much that she decides to say yes. And I think that's just wrong on so many levels, and that part of the book, if that part of the book wasn't there, the book for me would be perfect. I love the pacing, I love the writing, which is not weird because I really do enjoy Gaiman's writing, but this part of the book was really just very unsettling, and I really didn't like it. So I just want to make that clear, that that is a thing in the book and it's not really good. Moving on, we have two, I think they're still classified as YA fantasies, maybe new adult fantasies, and that is Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I have finished the Throne of Glass series, and I must say I actually thoroughly enjoyed this experience. And Maya, I know you're watching, so thank you for making me read Throne of Glass. I think it helped me through a lot of stuff that's been going on through the past couple of months. So first off, let's start with Tower of Dawn. This is basically a story that is kind of 180 from everything that has been happening up to this point, because we are leaving all of the characters behind and turning to the side of the continent and watching what and seeing what Cale has been doing, whether he's able to recuperate because he's in a wheelchair, he can't walk. So he comes to the south, to Torre where he meets Irene Towers, which is a character from the Assassin's Blade. book. She is a healer, and she is kind of this like already a high-ranking healer. She is very strong and very talented, and we are just following their story as he kind of heals. And then we're following Nezrin, who he kind of splits up with, and she gets entangled with a prince of the south, and we get to see one of the tribes there that have creatures that are like some kind of dragony, like some flying creatures anyways. And we get to know like this weird spiders that are evil. So from my point of view, this book could have been 400 pages shorter. Maya commented that it would work better as a short story book and collection, and I really agree, because I think the Kale and Irene story was interesting. The Nezrin and like the Rooks and the Prince story was interesting. There was like some political intrigue in there, but it didn't have any value. It didn't add anything to the story and wasn't, like connected to whatever was happening in the north. So we got to learn more about this than the actual kingdoms that we have been following for the past 5 books. So that was kind of but overall, like the end reveal was just like mind-blowing, and it was really good. So kind of that's a plus. And like as I said, the story was okay. It went faster than I expected. It wasn't that bad, but I think it definitely could have been shorter. And then we come to the Kingdom of Ash, which is the final book in the series, and so many things happen. Basically, every chapter is a new battle, a new event, something emotional or wartime thing is happening, and just this is the book that kept me most intrigued and most entertained and focused on the book. I just couldn't stop reading. I usually read my audiobooks while I take a walk with my dog, and I just wanted to read this outside of that because it was so engaging and I just loved it. And we basically get the conclusion to all of the storylines that we have come across the past 6 books, and I think it was a really, really solid ending, and yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. Then I continued with my Zayaten Warriors series, which is a series about blue aliens, and I read Alien Wanted. So this is the story of Mako, who owns a farm on one of the planets in the system, in the universe, in space, and he comes across a mail order bride, Emily, who he is very intrigued with. And kind of he finds out that she is basically married off to another guy from the planet, but he kind of has things that she doesn't want to do what he expects from her to do, so she kind of runs back to Malkov, and there's also obviously like a story happening here. Emily is really, she chose to kind of go from Earth to find a husband. She wants somebody to love her for who she is because she has a disability. There's something wrong with her leg, and then she has already been married off, but they have kind of told her that she can't have children, so she is kind of unwanted, and she is I think they call them defective in the book, which is really just awful. And that's why she was kind of sold off to another guy, because just like she can't provide whatever they're asking her to do. And basically it's focusing on their story and how she proves to be very capable and clever, and more than anyone would expect from her, because she at first appears shy and like not very combative and anything. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I like the first one still a bit better, but it was a really nice read, you know, like kind of just a break for my mind. So definitely a E plus. Then I read a couple of comics. So I read Helen Gone, which by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. But basically, this is kind of a mashup of Sandman and Lock and Key. Because as I understood it, maybe they're gonna do like a new comic where they kind of mash. I'm not sure. But basically, you get a couple of stories from the Sandman comics and a couple of stories from the Lock and Key comics where they kind of could intertwine. But this first story is focused very much on grief and dying, dying young. So there are a lot of trigger warnings there. But it was fun. I mean, I already read all of those, so it was just a nice reminder of the comics. Then I read Anya's Ghost. And this was such a good read. It was such a beautiful surprise. So this is a story about Anya, who kind of has problems with her heritage. She is actually Russian, but she has learned to speak perfect English, so nobody teases her for being Russian. And she is a bit of a rebel. She, you know, goes to school, but she smokes, and she doesn't really care about grades that much. And then she falls into a well and finds a ghost there who kind of follows her home. And this ghost basically tries to force itself into Anya's life, and it very quickly becomes very ominous, and Anya finds out about stuff about the ghost of the girl that is following her. So it was a really interesting read. I love the artwork, and I'm sorry I can't show you because it's on my phone, on my Kindle app, and I'm filming on my phone, but I'll try to insert some pictures here from the screenshots. I really liked it, and I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting, and it made me think about a lot of things. So yeah, definitely a plus. And finally, I read Some Days by Maria Wernicke, and I can't read this, but I think this is a Brazilian author. So this is a picture book, actually. It's really short. It maybe has like 10 to 15 pages, but it also deals with grief and loss, specifically loss of a parent. So this is the story about a girl who kind of finds a way to keep the memory of her dad alive through hanging clothes. That's all I'm gonna say, but it was just really, I don't want to say nice, but it was really heart-wrenching and difficult to read, but at the same time, you know, it was heartwarming to see how she keeps the memory and helps her mom with, you know, like not breaking apart. And yeah, it was really a nice short read. Then I read The Southern's Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. So I read this because I read Horror Store and absolutely loved it, and I wanted to try something else by Grady Hendrix, and I'm actually really glad I did. So this is, I think, a bit of a controversial one because I think it's a book that will either appeal to you or not, because it's very different from Horror Store, and I think you can't expect to see the same things here, because this is really a story about a couple of Southern ladies who are, you know, like stay-at-home moms, and they don't work, housewives basically, and they have a book club where they read a lot of thrillers and mysteries and true crime non-fiction books, and you know, that's how they spend their time. And at one point, somebody appears in their town who is seemingly a very nice guy. He kind of, you know, ingrains himself into the community, but one of the ladies, the main character of our book, Patricia, thinks that the person is a vampire because she actually saw him, drinking blood. And she constantly tries to kind of prove that that's true. And it was very interesting, but it was really slow. And I think you need to kind of be prepared that this is not gonna be this big, oh my god, I'm gonna be so it's gonna be so intense, and be on the edge all the time. It's really about a story about their lives, and really how people misjudge housewives and how many prejudices they have. And it's really interesting, like, to see that 80s life, early 90s life, and it really looks I felt like watching a movie, because it reminded me a lot of the 80s and 90s movies that I watched as a kid, how people behaved. And I really had this one point in the book where I was so mad, so mad, because there was this scene where the women have like eyewitnesses, they have proof, they have literally gathered evidence to show them that there is something wrong with this guy, and all of their husbands kind of gang up on them and basically tell them they're worthless and they're imagining things, and that the fact that they're reading these books, it just messed up their minds, because they have been seeing this guy as a friend and he's for sure good. And like it was so annoying. I really wanted to like throw something, because it was so mean. And the fact that I could actually like envision people doing that even today made me even more mad. And yeah, but overall I really like the book, and I think it's a solid 4 stars. Like, I really liked it, and I'm gonna be reading the next Radiant books for sure, because I just really enjoyed them. And finally, I am slowly finishing up my K. Daniels reading, like, I don't know what, but I read Retribution Clause, which is, what is it? The 5.6 short story in the K. Daniels universe. And this is a story about Adam, who is, oh my god, what is he? He's like a Bigfoot, I think. He's Simon's cousin from another city. Basically, he can shapeshift into any you know any person that he thinks of, and he is some kind of insurance dealer. And there's this thing called retribution clause in the insurance contract, where if somebody kills you, they send the insurance company to kill that person. And so he is basically on the hunt for this person that killed the woman who has the contract. And over the course of the short story, he finds out that something is wrong here, and it was really fun, like another, Ilona Andrus short story. But it sounded weird. I'm so used to kind of having a female narrator that it took me, it just surprised me a bit at the beginning. It took some time to get used to it, but overall it was nice. It wasn't nothing special, but it was nice just to see a bit some other sides of the world. And this is it. So please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Have you read any of these books? Did you like them? Would you like to try them? Anything that comes to mind. Press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos. There are important links down in the description box. And I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye!